Breaking news. Breaking news. Yeah, I did Cowboy Bebop there, I think, but I meant to just do the breaking news sounds because we have breaking news. Thank you. We have breaking news coming out of Flesh and Blood, out of Pro Tour Amsterdam. Brian Gottlieb gave his keynote speech, and there's some really cool stuff going on in this game that we love. Obviously, as you see, we're going to go over the spoiled cards. I know we want to talk about the heroes, but let me go through my notes before we do that and talk about some of the other things that were mentioned during the keynote that are really interesting. First of all, we know that Flesh and Blood is planning at least 4 more Armory decks right now. They are currently making 4 more Armory decks. That's a strong indication that that will continue into the future, but as far as the timeline that they've given us, we see 4 more. We can expect a new hero to be released through the Armory decks. This is huge news because now we don't necessarily have to wait for a set for it to thematically make sense to reintroduce, say, Ice or Dromai. So this is really big. This is very exciting. I know that people are going to be concerned and make a fuss online about availability, but we don't know what we don't know, right? We don't have an answer for what the availability of those decks is going to look like. Let's all make sure to trust LSS. And I haven't seen any conversation online. I'm just speculating that people are going to assume that this will be too limited for them to get their hands on and panic prematurely. If you're feeling that way, maybe just take a breath. I'm sure there will be plenty. I want to talk a little bit about the team at Flesh and Blood because whoever is in charge of onboarding new players, you are doing such good work. You are doing amazing. Not only do we have these Armory decks that are, in my opinion, a home run, uh, the explanation that they were giving for why they need first strike decks, it was a perfect answer, right? Because they need easy answers for retailers to direct people for getting into the game. It's great. And they said very clearly, look, these aren't going to be decks that collectors want for value. These are decks to get people into the game. Obviously there's some discussion about, is that not what blitz decks are? But the way that they are telling us what their intentions are makes me feel that they know what they're doing. It's to give an easy answer. Likewise, they introduced a product called Mastery Pack Guardian coming out next year. This is such a good product. This is exactly what Flesh and Blood needs. It is a set entirely made up of Guardian cards, which means we can return to crack shuffle play, which was sort of first tested in Bright Lights, say. And now it's, because it's got this mastery set thing, I think we avoid a problem that Bright Lights had. Is it does a much better job of saying to players, if this set is not a class you enjoy, then this product might not be for you. We'll see how much they do expansion slot stuff when that comes out. They did say there will be cards for other classes. I'm not entirely sure if that just means generics, what that means, but I love this. They were saying that one of the reasons is for players that like a class to have easy answers for where to start. It is, to me, They are doing such an amazing job at providing an on-ramp for new players. So you love to see that. Let's keep it going here. We have some stuff that is coming out for this new set, Rosetta. We will get into heroes and whatnot, but before we do that, actually, let's just touch on a couple other things they announced. We have our first Living Legend calling in Chicago. I'm not gonna make any plans now that that's been announced. I think that that's it was bound to happen eventually that we'd get a Living Legend calling. So that's exciting. If you like Living Legend, great. We have at Worlds, there will be the 5th year anniversary pack that is in Osaka. I also am not going to be making any plans for that. I feel that this is certainly going to be a product that a lot of people feel FOMO over. They're going to want those packs. I'm sure they're going to have awesome alt arts. I'm going to save my money. It's very cool, but let's make sure that you're responsible, because those are going to be very cool and I imagine quite expensive. There is a change to this. I don't know if everyone really caught. They are changing the meaning of limited to now include blitz precons. It could also include other things in the future, but it is not just draft and sealed anymore. It also includes blitz pre-constructed decks. We'll see how that affects organized play, but I thought that was interesting. Let's get into what you are probably most interested in here, the cards. Let's talk about the cards. Can we talk about the cards? I've been dying to talk about the cards. Let's start with the heroes, right? Florian, Rotwood, Harbinger. This is what most people expected. It just doubles the amount of Earth cards you need in your banish zone in order to get your Mordred Tide effect. I love this art. I think it's really cool. I was very worried when they teased this little rose thing. I thought we'd have like a very, anime-esque pose, but this is very cool. I love this art. I'm very excited for Florian, as I am the other heroes as well. So we'll move right along to our other rune blade, Aurora Shooting Star. Same ability as before, and you could have fooled me as far as whether or not this was the same art or not. I would have totally bought that this was the same art. But alas, it is different. We have Verdance, Thorn of the Rose. It is an elemental wizard girl's girl. If there are 8 or more Earth cards in your banished zone, Verdance gets whenever you gain life during your turn, you may deal 1 arcane damage to any opposing target. Yes, it's Chapel Roan. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of both Verdance and Chapel. So I think this is going to be a really cool hero. We are seeing our first wizard hero with 40 life and with life gain mechanics. So it seems very possible that this is going to be a defensive fatigue based hero. In fact, I don't even think I need to say it seems very likely. That's what we're seeing here. Let's move on to our last hero that got spoiled here. Auxilio Constella Intelligence. Once per turn instant, discard an instant, draw a card. And it has 36 starting life. Very interesting. Seems to be the explosive wizard of the set. So now we have our heroes revealed. We, of course, got Enigma New Moon in the last set, spoiled just moments, I believe, before the world premiere. So, yeah, there could always be another hero that sneaks in. I don't think there will be. I have another theory about what there will be, and I'll tell you at the end. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe. Okay, so let's talk about some of the new cards. We got these split cards, right? You'll just have to turn your head. Um, they have multiple types based off of each side. The cost is for both of them. Uh, so you have to pay the cost for both sides. In this case, the cost for both sides is 0, and it blocks 3, which gives us the ability to block with instants. So that's cool. We like that. And we got several more of these. There's Runeblade ones, Wizard ones, Lightning ones, Earth ones. I actually don't want to spend too much time going through each of these. I know they're really exciting, and I'm I leave it to you to have that conversation in the comments, in Discord, wherever you'd like. I want to say that whenever there's innovation like this, there are going to be people who doubt it or are negative towards it, don't want it. Maybe they had a bad experience with Magic. They don't want the meld cards. This is another one that I'm gonna say, like, I'm very excited to see how this goes when we play in paper. I wouldn't just try and stay away from any reactionary conversations that might happen online if you feel yourself leaning that way. I haven't seen anything yet. Maybe that doesn't happen at all, but it is 2024. People react to everything strongly, myself included. So just make sure you keep an open mind. I'm sure some of these cards are going to be absolute game defining design, and that they'll make for a very fun limited experience. At least that's my hope. And now let's talk about what is defining limited experiences going forward, and that is a new card type called macro. A macro seems to be uh, a card that you start with in the arena from a particular set. Now, there's obviously, I believe it's Helios Meyer, which is the uprising headpiece that you may start with. Um, this is reminiscent of that, and it seems to be in the design space for the future of the game. This is 2 resources, prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to you this turn by a source of your choice. Destroy this at the beginning of the end phase. So you can activate this multiple times. The other thing I want to say about this is your arcane barrier so far. They have said specifically that arcane barrier is not in this set. Now, I think that maybe we just don't see, um, we might just not see null rune gloves, null rune suite. We might see some other form of prevention like this in our equipment. But really interesting that we have this new card type defining limited sets. Now these cards were released earlier this week, I believe. Earth form and lightning form. They look like they're going to be commons, and these are the extended art versions, probably for a calling or battle hardened. And then we have some generics that act as arsenal disruption. I personally don't think that any of these cards are interesting if you have a command and conquer. These are cards that the game needs um, when bringing in new players, but I think established players, um, they're tongue tied is a 7 against Prism. I think these are they're good cards. They can certainly gain you information if they don't destroy an arsenal. But so this is what we got. We got some new cards to look at. Like I said, I don't want to go through all of the individual cards. I really just wanted to touch on the heroes and some of the announcements that were made. Now, what I do want to say is I have 2 things that I am pretty sure about in this set. You can go watch on go watch it on Flesh and Blood's channel because the stream cut the music out of the announcement trailer, the reveal trailer for Rosetta. Um, so go watch it on Flesh and Blood's channel. Watch that video. There are two things that stood out to me. One, and I think this one is maybe I don't know if it's more obvious or less, but it seems to be we're getting new wizard arms, right? They showed an arm piece looked more like wizard to me than it did rune blade, and it made me think of Meridian Pathways in our reveal for Part the Mistveil. The other thing that I am fairly certain of is that we are going to get seasonal altars, right? If you look at that trailer, at many times there are cards that they show in 4 different seasons. That could be a cycle of cards. However, usually cycles of cards in Flesh and Blood are 3 cards, not 4. So I do think that we are going to get seasonal altars. I also think that if we do get some sort of gold pack, my theory is that it will be seasonal altars of Verdance. Maybe we get another hero, but I think it's more likely that we'll just get altars for this set. But that's what I was able to come up with after rewatching that video. That's what I saw. That's what stood out to me. Let me know what got you excited, what stood out to you. And one thing I want to just stress again is the team that is in charge of bringing on new players is doing such a good job. The it is their approach is strategic, it's thought out. I'm really happy with that direction. And if you find yourself finding mechanics or certain aspects of the game that you aren't sure how you feel, try and look at it through the lens of that team and see if it has value for new players. I think a lot of times us established players just want something for us, and we don't, well, why do we need first strike decks? We already have blitz decks. Why don't they make something of value for me? Think about that team and the work that they are doing to grow this wonderful game that we love. And that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for joining, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.